You're 20 years old, and you think the biggest problem in your life is a broken plow and a debt to the local lord that you can't pay. You live in a village of 300 souls where everyone knows your name, your father's name, and exactly how many chickens you own. It is a world of mud, prayer, and hard work, and you expect to die in the same bed where you were born. But the world doesn't care about your expectations. The change starts on a Tuesday. A merchant rolls in from the east, led by a horse that looks as tired as he does. He's coughing. His skin is the color of old parchment, and he's shaking so hard he can barely hold his reins. You help him down, and he grips your arm with a hand that feels like a hot coal. He tells you he's just tired from the road, a simple fever from the rain. Like any recruit starting at the bottom, he just wants a place to sleep. You believe him because you want to. In this village, a fever is just something you sweat out. You offer him a corner of your hayloft because in your world, hospitality is a rule, not a choice. By Friday, the merchant isn't just tired. He's in the hayloft of the tavern, screaming at things no one else can see. The tavern keeper calls the village healer, but when she pulls back the man's tunic, the room goes silent. There are black swellings the size of apples in his armpits and around his neck. They are hard, hot, and oozing a foul-smelling liquid. The whispers start that night. In the church, the priest talks about divine wrath and the sins of the flesh. The older men say it's a curse, or perhaps a bad wind from the mountains. You watch your neighbors cross themselves and avoid the tavern like it's on fire. Denial is a shield, but it's made of glass. You tell yourself you're young and strong, and God wouldn't punish a simple farmer like you. You learn early that some people are born to belong, and right now, the merchant is the one looking in through glass he can't break. You think you're safe because you have a home, but the sickness doesn't care about your walls. It's an invisible visitor that doesn't need an invitation. The merchant dies on Saturday night. He doesn't go quietly, he dies choking on his own blood. The priest performs a hurried burial, skipping half the prayers because he wants to get away from the body. He tells everyone the danger is gone with the merchant. He is wrong. Monday morning, you find 3 rats dead in your grain store. They didn't look sick. They just dropped where they stood. You start noticing the fleas everywhere, on the dogs, in the straw, on your own tunic. In this world, the smallest things are the deadliest. You brush a flea off your neck, thinking nothing of it, not realizing you've just been handed a death sentence by a creature smaller than a grain of wheat. By noon, the tavern keeper's daughter is in bed with a headache. By sunset, she has the black lumps. Death is moving faster than the gossip. It takes 2 days for a healthy man to become a corpse. You see the fear in people's eyes. It's not the fear of a bad harvest. It's the fear of the invisible. Every itch on your skin feels like a death sentence. You realize the hierarchy isn't about respect anymore. It's about the math of survival. The toll begins to climb. 3 dead Tuesday, 7 Wednesday. You see your friends, people you've known since you were a kid, turning gray and coughing up red foam. You learn that fear is a renewable resource, and right now, your village is a factory for it. You stop going to the well. You stop looking people in the eye. You realize that loyalty to your neighbors is a luxury you can no longer afford, when every breath they take near you feels like a threat to your life. The village council meets at the Lord's gates, but the gates don't open. The Lord's men-at-arms stand on the walls with crossbows telling you to go home. They have their own food and their own walls. They've decided you are an operational liability. They don't see you as people anymore. They see you as a plague vector. The village tries to protect itself with the same cruelty. You and the other young men block the road with fallen trees. No one comes in. No one goes out. If a traveler approaches, you throw stones until they leave. It's not about cruelty. It's about math. 1 outsider equals 300 dead. Trust is the first thing to die. You see your neighbor? A man who lent you salt for 10 years, locking his windows when you walk by. Paranoia is just good planning when everyone is a potential threat. If a family falls sick, the village elders nail their door shut from the outside. You can hear them screaming through the wood for water, but no one goes near. It's a cleaning of the neighborhood, except the dirt is your friends. Some people flee into the woods, thinking they can outrun a ghost. Others join the flagellants. Men who walk through the streets, whipping themselves until they bleed, begging God for a mercy that isn't coming. You watch the blood mix with the mud and realize that religion is just another way to scream in the dark. You see mothers abandoning their children in the street because the children have the black marks. The social order is melting, and there's no golden rule except never getting attached to someone who is coughing. You're all ghosts now, just waiting for the wind to blow you over. By the second month, the village stops being a village and becomes a morgue. The graveyard is a sea of fresh dirt, and there's no more room for individual crosses. You are hired as a body man because you haven't coughed yet. Your job is simple. Push a cart through the streets and call for the dead. You go into houses where entire families are sitting at the dinner table, all of them blue, black, and cold. You find mothers holding babies that died days ago, refusing to let go even in death. You stop checking for pulses. If they aren't moving, they go in the cart. You're the fixer for a problem that can't be fixed. You dig plague pits, mass graves where you lay your bodies like cordwood and cover them with lime to stop the smell. The priest is dead. The healer is dead. The Lord's tax collector died with his ledger still in his hand, trying to count pennies while the world ended. The system is broken. Farms go unworked. The wheat rots in the fields. Cows wander into the village with full udders, lowing in pain because there's no one left to milk them. The smell is a thick, sweet rot that clings to your clothes and your hair. You realize you haven't spoken to a living soul in 3 days. You spend your nights in a windowless room, drinking ale to forget the faces you saw that day. The silence is louder than the screaming ever was. You are a ghost counting borrowed days, waiting for your own number to be called, realizing that in this game, everyone is worth more dead than alive. You are the last employee in a company that is going out of business, and there's no one left to pay your wages. Months later, the frost comes, and the dying stops as quickly as it began. You emerge from your hut like a ghost. The village is half empty. Out of 300 people, maybe 80 are left. You walk through the streets and see X marks on almost every door. There are houses with no one to claim them, gold sitting on tables with no one to spend it, and vast stretches of land with no one to plow it. You are one of the survivors, but you have lost everything that mattered. You look at your hands, the hands that buried your village, and you realize you are not the same person who worried about a broken plow. Then, something strange happens. The Lord's new bailiff comes to your door. He needs the fields plowed. He offers you the same pittance your father made. You say no. He's shocked. He threatens you with the stocks. You look him in the eye and tell him to find someone else to do it. But there's no one else. Half the laborers in the county are in the pits you dug. Suddenly, your hands are the most valuable thing in the kingdom. For the first time in history, the membership fee for society has changed. You have leverage. You demand double the wages. You demand your own land. You demand to be treated like a man instead of furniture. The Lord has no choice but to pay. He needs you more than you need him. The old world died in the plague pits, and a new one is being built on the bones. You aren't just a farmer anymore. You're an investment that the kingdom can't afford to lose. The Black Death didn't just kill people. It killed the idea that things stay the same. It taught you that power isn't about titles. It's about who is still standing when the bells stop ringing. You spend your life looking for safety, only to discover that the only real safety is a shallow grave and a prayer no one hears. You realize that the hierarchy was always a lie, a story told by people with crowns to keep people with plows in line. But when the plague comes, the crown and the plow end up in the same pit.